Hello, how are you guys doing? Let me set this up. There we go. Got my water. Did you hear that? F minor 7. Alright, so what I want to do is pick up where we left off. Let me check those sound levels. That'll work. I think everything's going to be fine. Hey Hunter. Hi Safcourt 4146. Good to see you guys. Alright, so I'm going to pick it up where we left off. If you didn't see yesterday's video, I'm going to pick it up from there. I covered a lot of the basic things. I talked about the chord, and let's review just a little bit. So let's talk about the chord. In your E minor 7 chord, your chord tones are E, G, B, D. We talked about the scale that this is, that the chord comes from. Here's the scale. Further review, we talked about this scale being the Dorian mode of the D major scale. Also helpful, let me see. We labeled, let me get out of here. We labeled the scale notes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Alright? Just the same way that you would label these chord tones. Oh no! Let me label them underneath. Again, this is just review. This is everything we talked about yesterday. Just so we're on the same page. So this is the first note. This is the third note of the scale. The fifth note. And the seventh note. And that's how we create a chord. And then the exact same thing. Oh, that's not what I want. Oh, I didn't want that at all. Let me just write it like this. In F minor 7, we're going to have an F natural, A flat, C, E flat, and C natural. This is the scale. Also, the Dorian mode. And we could label, well, let's see if this works. Paste. It kind of does. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The seventh note, the eighth note. Same thing with the chord tones. We have the first note. Oh no. The third note. We have the fifth and the seventh. Yesterday we talked about how important it is to keep the form so you don't get lost. If you've been listening here, you ought to know where we're at. We're coming up to the E minor, and here we are. That's the most important thing, is keeping the form. If you're playing along right now, let's review by playing the first two chord tones and make up your own rhythm. 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 2. Don't lose time. Here's F minor. And keep it simple. E. Top of the form. Now, if you're able to, again, if you practiced this yesterday, if you were in watching, and you practiced this and you were able to keep the form, take it to the next level and try to push it a little, make it a little bit more complicated. Try to, see how creative you can be while still keeping the form and not getting lost. So this is everything we did yesterday. What else did we talk about? If you're listening, here we're on F minor 7. We have 4 measures left in F minor 7. Again, keeping the form is the most important thing. Okay, so we have 2 chords. We have the E minor 7 chord and the F minor 7 chord. We talked about the Dorian mode scale that you can use when you're improvising. And we also talked about some other collections of notes, let's call them, that you can use when you're creating ideas. And when I say create ideas, well, let's just go through an example. So let's use this collection of notes, we'll call it. So we're going to use a pentatonic scale. A pentatonic means 5 tones. So it's made up of 5 notes. It's going to be the first, the third, the fourth, the fifth, and the 7th. And we're going to call this, it's a pentatonic scale. In fact, let me see. Yeah. It's your G major pentatonic scale, really. So, but it's still a pentatonic scale. And I like using this pentatonic scale. Let me even put in parentheses, G major. So what I mean by that is I'm using this collection of notes, but I'm getting those notes from a G major pentatonic scale. G, A, B, D, nope. There we go. I think I'm getting sound. Let me adjust something. Okay. So that's the same collection of notes. So when I'm talking about these collections of notes, it doesn't matter where you start. E, if you start on G, however you do it, that's fine. So just to play this, just play these notes. I'm going to get rid of this. So now just to talk about how I might experiment with different ways of playing these notes, right? Because we can extend these notes as far up and as down as we want. So what I like to do is start on the lowest note and just work my way up. Just whatever's comfortable. And you can push your range as high as you want. Now that by itself isn't all that exciting, right? This is where you got to start being creative, coming up with your own ideas. Let's see. If you're listening, we're in F minor 7 right now. So since we're there, let's talk about the F minor pentatonic scale. We'll get to the ideas in just a second. It's the first note. Actually, we got to change this. A flat, B flat, C, E flat. And something you'll notice is, especially if you were here yesterday, we have all the chord tones in this pentatonic scale. The 1, the 3, the 5, and the 7. We add the extra note, the 4th, and the 4th note is a great note. The 4th note sounds great in a minor scale, in a minor chord, against a minor chord. It's a good sounding note. unlike when you play a fourth in a major chord where it sounds really, really bad. Oftentimes. It has a tense sound because it conflicts with the major third. But against a minor third, the fourth sounds really good. Here we're back in E minor. So let's talk about how we can start putting this scale to work a little bit. Because last time we talked about being creative and keeping the form. And I think that's super important. That's the most important thing. If you're still working on that, keep working on that. But I'm going to start going a little farther. What I like to do is make up patterns with these scales to sort of open up more possibilities when I'm soloing. Okay? So if all I practice is my scale going up, my scale going down, that's all I can play. If I practice my chord going up, my chord going down, that's all I can play. You know, I'm limited to a certain degree. But if I do, let me give you an example. So I'll go straight into an idea. So using the pentatonic scale, which we borrow from G major, I gotta turn that down or something. Maybe it'll be alright. Alright. So take a look at, how much room do I got? Let me go over here like this. There we go. Alright. So take a look at this idea, and I'll write this in I'll write this down as pentatonic practice. So listen to how it sounds. Okay? Now, how can you put that into a practice routine? And how is that beneficial to your improvisation? Well, first let's go straight into the practice routine. So we're going to take that basic idea. I'll keep this pentatonic scale here. Maybe I'll move it down one though. Cut, paste. So let me show you how I like to practice things. I'm going to start with sort of a low to mid-range. Starting point. Okay, so that covers the entire range of the normal, trumpet range, right? I mean from the mid-range down. So at this point, you can do it with the track, or you can cut the track out. Go back and do that. There we go. Just want to make sure I got this. That's what I want. Check on that. Let me check the sound real quick while I'm here. Come on. So I'm not hearing that coming through. Huh. So I had this background track playing, but I'm not hearing it coming through. Let me try. Alright, hang on just for a second. I wonder why that's not coming through. Well, either way, even if it's not on right now. Let me see. Oh wow, I can't believe it's not going on. Alright, I gotta figure something else out. Alright, let me try to restart this. I'll be back in just a second.